Dirt Trax is sponsored by Can-Am, the ride says it all. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. And by Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
Ever since Polaris introduced the General, we have been getting inundated with posts and emails asking us the same question. Which is the best sport utility side-by-side? And in our minds, there's really only 4 choices. In our opinion, the 4 vehicles that are most accurately described as sport utility are Kawasaki's Trax, Yamaha's Wolverine, Can-Am's Commander, and the Polaris General. These are all vehicles designed to work as hard as they play. But in our opinion, 2 of them stand out as having dual personalities that are more equally split between sport and utility than the others. They are the Polaris General and Can-Am's Commander. So today we're going to answer your questions in classic dirt track style, with the gritty truth. But instead of comparing 2 specific vehicles, we're going to take a look at what is offered by each manufacturer from their entire sport utility lineup. We're going to pick a winner in each category and give them 1 point. At the end of it all, the vehicle with the most points is going to get our nod as the vehicle that best personifies what a sport utility side-by-side should be. So let's get started. First up, let's look at power. The heart of any vehicle is always its motor. In this area of comparison, we have only 3 power plants to talk about. Can-Am offers the Commander with either the 71 horsepower 800cc V-twin or the 85 horsepower 976cc V-twin. Both of these motors are overachievers and feel like they have way more horsepower than they actually do. They're both really torquey down low, but they both also suffer from abrupt engagement and jumpy acceleration with even mild throttle inputs at lower RPMs. Polaris's General is available with only a 100 horsepower 999cc parallel twin. It's got excellent bottom end, tons of top end, and is smooth as butter no matter where you are in the RPM range. So the decision we need to make is this: is having a choice of 2 motors that aren't as smooth as we'd like better than having only 1 more powerful motor option that's so pleasant and easy to drive? Our crew unanimously agreed that they would rather have the smooth and more plentiful power of the General's 1000 than having a choice between the 800 or 1000 with the Can-Am. So score 1 point over here. Next, we'll look at comfort and ergonomics. The Commander has excellent seats, comfortable and well bolstered. It has lots of legroom as well, but the seating position is too upright. It needs to be laid back more. It can also be a bit tight to get in and out of. The seats in the General, on the other hand, are really nicely reclined, and there's lots of legroom. The seats themselves aren't quite as nice as those in the Commander, but it's really easy to get in and out. So the question is, which one of these 2 is the better choice? Again, after discussing this topic with our testers, they all agreed they would take the superior seating position and easier in and egress of the General than the better seats from the Commander. So, score 1 more for the General. When it comes to suspension and ride quality, things get infinitely more confusing. Because we're looking at the entire lineup of models from each manufacturer, there are a ton of shock combinations. So, we have to look at which line offers the best ride from both the base and high-end models. The Commander line definitely has the widest range of shock options. The base models feature basic twin-tube gas-charged shocks, which provide a surprisingly good ride. When you move up to the XTP package, you get a set of Dirt Track's favorite Fox Podium 2.0 QS3 shocks, and if you opt for the Full Jam Limited model, you get an industry-exclusive, self-leveling, fully adjustable air ride suspension system. The problem here is not with the shocks, and it's not with the amount of travel you get with the Commander. It's got 10 inches of travel front and rear. The problem as we see it is the Commander's TTI trailing arm rear suspension. The trailing arms simply don't work as well as traditional A-arms. The front of the Commander rides great in all trim levels, but the rear feels bouncy and not at all plush no matter what shock package you're using. We think a variant of the TTA rear suspension off the Maverick would be a welcome addition on the Commander and could transform its ride in a big way. The base and mid-level models of the General are equipped with a set of pretty unexciting, preload adjustable gas-charged shocks. It's not until you step up to the deluxe model that you get the Fox Podium 2.0 QS3s. The QS3s are great if you're going to push your General hard, but even the base model with basic, uninteresting shocks is plush and soaks up anything you might encounter. We think this has a lot to do with razor-based suspension geometry and 12 inches of front and 13 inches of rear travel. So, point 3 to the General. Our 4th category is handling, and this one's pretty basic and straightforward. Only the base model Commander comes without DPS, all the other models included. Can-Am's digital power steering system with its 3 modes is excellent. We love that it's tunable. The General only comes with power steering. Even the base model has it standard. While there's only one mode, Polaris has their power steering tuned perfectly. So this all really boils down to the chassis. Also of note is that both vehicles feature front and rear sway bars on all models. The Commander handles well, but push it hard and it starts to feel tall and tippy. For average trail riding, it's fine, but put it up against the very razor-ish General, and the General's just better. It corners flat and doesn't feel tippy. So score 1 more point for the General.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more.
Now let's take a look at the utility side of these sport utility rides. We've covered things that make them fun to play with, but what about the features and traits that make them useful? Here we need to take a look at cargo hauling capabilities. Both of these vehicles have 600-pound box capacities, both can tow up to 1,500 pounds, both have 2-inch hitch receivers and low range. In these areas, they are equals, but boil things down further and the differences become apparent. Obviously, both have dumping cargo boxes with folding tailgates, but the Commander's dump box is unique in that it has 2 levels. Both levels have their own tailgates and both can be opened with just one hand. A thin divider separates the 2 of them, but is easily removable if you want to use the whole bed as one big open space. We really like this dump box for a few reasons. First, the dual level setup is handy. If you're hauling larger items, maybe wood or equipment, it's really nice to have a second place to put things where you can get at them without having to dig through all the stuff on top. The dumping mechanism is smooth and easy to use, the tailgate functions flawlessly and closes with a confidence-inspiring click. Our only gripe here is that there is nowhere near enough tie-down points built into the bed, which is a huge oversight. The General's box is more basic, it's just a big rectangle. Its dumping mechanism is not at all smooth, gritty even. The tailgate opens well, but doesn't inspire confidence when you close it, so you always feel the need to slam it shut. On the other hand, the box is lined with Polaris's proprietary lock and ride mounting locations, so you can add any number of accessories in a matter of seconds. It's hard not to love this cargo box. It's innovative, useful, and it's easy to use. Yes, the General has more tie-down points, but this box is simply better on the Commander. So it scores its first point. Our 6th and 7th categories are our last 2. They aren't the same, but they are somewhat related. They are features and accessories, and price and value. It's not hard to see how they are very much influenced by each other. Can-Am offers the widest range of models with their Commander lineup. From the base all the way to the fully loaded Limited, there really is something for everybody. The base model is the most affordable and comes only as an 800 with no power steering. It's got dual drive modes, digital security, and comes with 27-inch Maxxis Bighorn 2.0 tires. The Commander DPS gets styled aluminum wheels, 2 engine options, and of course, power steering. The XT package adds a heavy-duty front bumper, mud guards, bed rails, and a winch. From there, you move on to the XTP like we have here, which gets black aluminum beadlock wheels, rock rails, Fox QS3 shocks, and only comes with the 1000 under the hood. The final and most maxed out version of the Commander is the Limited. Now it loses the QS3 shocks, but it gains a self-leveling adjustable Fox air suspension system, a roof, windshield, 4-speaker sound system, and a GPS in the dash. That's a pretty tricked out lineup. The General comes in 3 flavors. The base 1000 EPS includes power steering and really nice sealed doors, but has steel wheels with 27-inch AT 489 tires. The 1000 EPS Premium adds cast aluminum wheels with 27-inch Dirt Commander tires, low-profile front bumper, and a 4,500-pound winch. And finally, the Deluxe model adds Fox QS3 shocks, sport roof, MTX sound system, and a rear-view mirror. All General models have outstanding interior storage areas. Best in class, no question. For this category, we have to set price aside and look at only what options are included or available from the factory, and who does it better. The nod here definitely goes to Can-Am. For starters, they have more options to choose from, but their Limited model also has more features. So, point 2 to the Commander. So here we are at the end of our shootout. The final category is price and value. We have to look at what these things cost and what you get for your money. The base model Commander retails for $12,200 US. The base model General retails for 16 grand. That's a big difference. But what's important is that the base model General includes a whole bunch of features the base model Commander just doesn't have. The Commander that best competes with the base General is the DPS 1000. It retails for $14,600, which is $1,400 less than the base General. The base General does include doors and 15 more horsepower, but has entry-level tires. If you move to the mid-level models, the two that best compete are Can-Am's 1000 XT at $16,200 and the General 1000 EPS Premium for $17,500, a $1,300 difference. Again, the General includes doors and more ponies. Can-Am offers another level above the XT, the XTP like we have here, with Fox shocks and beadlock wheels for $17,700, but there's no competing General model. Next, we have the top of the food chain. The Commander Limited retails for $20,700 US. The General Deluxe retails for $20,000 even. At this level, the General is $700 cheaper than the Commander, and it includes doors and 100 horsepower. But the Commander includes air suspension and a GPS system. All things considered, when it comes to straight up price and value, the Commander gets the nod thanks to its wider range of price options and included accessories. That's 3 points for the Commander. Our points tallying now stands at 4 for the General and 3 for the Commander, which means the General is our winner, and I think very deserving of the crown. But I also think it's important to be clear about what this means for you, the consumer. Which one should you buy? That's the question. The General won the ride, handling, comfort, and power categories. On the trail, it's the clear winner. And while it did lose out in the utility category, it wasn't for being incapable. It certainly can do all the same jobs as the Commander. The doors and extra horsepower of the General add value that helps equalize their prices a bit more as well. We're excited to see what Can-Am's development team has in store for the Commander. They don't like to be one-upped in anything, so we're pretty sure they're working on something that's going to up the ante in the sport utility class. For now though, if you're not concerned about pushing your limits and just want to go for a ride after you're done work, either the General or the Commander would suit your needs well. If you're looking for the best, all-round, true-to-form sport utility side-by-side that can ride hard, play hard, work hard, and everything in between, the General is it.
Dirt Trax is brought to you by MBRP Performance Exhaust. Lightweight performance.
Most of the time on Dirt Trax, we're showing you brand new to the market vehicles, or we're upgrading stuff that's relatively fresh. But I know that folks who are just getting into this sport may not want to dive right into a brand new vehicle purchase. So today I'm hoping to walk you through some important steps for what to look for when you're buying a used ATV. As a reference, I have a 2009 Honda Rincon 680. This is a well-loved ride that's got just about 8,000 K on it. Hondas are known for reliability, but it doesn't mean that they don't also wear out. However, keep in mind this ATV is for reference, and the specific unit that you're looking at may be slightly different. But for the most part, all information will carry over to other four-wheel drive ATVs. Right up front, there's a few key ways to identify what kind of a life your potential purchase may have had. For some of us, this is going to seem common sense, but people who are new to the sport may have a little bit of buyer's excitement when they're making that purchase and overlook the obvious, and we don't want that. First things first, if it's a private sale and the vehicle isn't washed, be aware. Don't run away, but it's usually a good sign of covering something up or just not caring for the vehicle. Look for oil leaks, check to see if the ATV has been rolled into place from another location, and if it's garage kept but in the driveway, see if you can locate where it sits at night and see if there's any mystery fluid on the ground or recent-looking cleanup marks on gravel or cement. Even if the unit is clean and dry, keep an eye out for fluid leaks, and if it has been washed, make sure you check in the hard-to-reach areas, particularly between the frame and the skid plate. That's where you're going to find stuff like beaver hay and swamp grass that may indicate where this thing's been used. No, a little beaver hay or mud residue isn't a reason to pass, but it is something that will lead you to pay attention in a few more spots like the winch. Sure, you may test the buttons, but very few are actually going to pull the spool out 10 or 15 feet and look for excessive wear. If it's got synthetic rope, you may find fraying, and if it's steel, there might be severe rust, cuts, or unwinding strands, and these are indications that this thing may have seen a lot of abuse. While an ATV is an off-road vehicle, heavy use is to be expected. However, the older it is and the higher the miles, the nicer it is to know what kind of life it's led. If your prospective vehicle doesn't have a winch, move on to the rear and check out the half shafts and the CV boots. CV boots are these little pieces of rubber, and they're going to tell you a whole lot about the potential repair budget that you may need. If the vehicle has a lift kit, be aware. While lots of folks tout that as a selling feature, I consider it a drawback. The lift kit's going to add stress to the driveline and also wear out your CV boots prematurely. Look at the flexible creases in all four boots and get your hands in there and feel all the way around the circumference of each crease. If you find grease on any of the boots, you're more than likely to have a small hole. Even a pinhole will cause grease to come out and moisture to go in. And then the inevitable, if not repaired quickly, is axle failure. One of the best ways to check for wear and tear is by using something that most of us probably don't bring along when we go to buy an ATV. It's bringing a pump jack like this Pro Point from Princess Auto, and it's going to be worth it every single time. When you get the weight off the vehicle's wheels, you can start to feel any looseness in the bushings and bearings. Rotating wheels by hand will cause lots of driveline noise and even a new ATV, but putting static forward and back, up and down pressure on the wheels will identify if there are obvious issues. On this Rincon, there are obvious bushing and bearing problems, and I can visibly see the tire slop. This thing needs some work. Much like dating, looks, mileage, and year really don't tell you a whole lot about the actual history of this vehicle. We always recommend going for a good test ride, and service records, yeah, they're always nice to have. But at the end of the day, we hope these easy-to-follow steps will make you an educated buyer and potentially save you thousands of dollars in costly repairs down the road.
Closed captioning of Dirt Trax is sponsored by Triton Trailer, built for adventure.
There's little doubt the Yamaha Grizzly has made its mark on the ATV industry. The handle has become literally iconic. It has earned this lofty respect because the Grizzly is as tough as nails. It is as reliable as Old Faithful, and it's as durable, well, it's as durable as dirt. When it arrived nearly 15 years ago, the original Grizzly sported a thunderous 660cc single for motivation. At that time, a 660cc mill seemed outrageous, especially from what seemed like the overly careful folks at Yamaha. Interestingly, as time has rolled on, Yamaha hasn't made any radical moves in terms of power since that first Grizz made it into the sweaty hands of the Dirt Trax crew. For 2016, the Grizz gets an overall facelift, including new skin, improved Polaris lighting up front, better mud protection, and overall improved ergonomics. The subject of this test ride, the 700 SE, has a full complement of eye-catching extras. The Grizz SE sets itself apart from mere mortal Grizzlies with sweet matte black painted plastic bodywork. Complementing this cutting-edge look is a set of Yamaha factory-installed matte cast aluminum wheels. The wheels absolutely rock and are worth the upgrade alone. However, the SE is more than just aesthetics. It comes equipped with Yamaha's electric power steering, something we feel should be standard on every big bore ATV. Here's where Yamaha confounds us. Even though the 2016 Grizz uses the powered-up version of the 708cc twin-cam 4-valve single, common in Yamaha's off-road lineup, it's time for the company to add a cylinder. Let's make this clearer. Yamaha is the most competitive of the Japanese OEMs in both the side-by-side and ATV marketplaces. The model offerings and timely intros of new vehicles proves the company gets it. However, the entire off-road lineup from Yamaha, including this Grizzly, the Viking Recreation Utility side-by-side, and the Sport Recreation Wolverine are in need of a bigger inch, twin-cylinder motor to be 100% competitive. Let's not mix words here. The 708 4-valve single used in the Grizzly is a torque monster. There's more than enough low-end grunt to keep any mudslinging, hill climbing, snow plowing off-roader happy. The real issue is horsepower, and that is where the competition is pulling away. The Grizz SE with EPS comes in just shy of 700 pounds. That's impressively light, knowing the more cheeseburgers you're hauling around, the less responsive and nimble an ATV will feel. There's a good argument for the Grizzly's lightweight. It handles well and is easy to flick around. Yamaha has another ace up their sleeve with their CVT, ATV, and side-by-side models. It's this drop-dead, bulletproof, anvil-like, Ultramatic CVT tranny. In our experience, there is no more reliable transmission in the off-road business. We have never blown out or worn out a CVT drive belt with an Ultramatic tranny, period. Yamaha's electric shifting 4x4 system has proven almost as durable as their CVT. The system is well thought out, using a throttle block mounted, tactile push-button actuator allowing quick and easy 4x4 selection without fumbling for buttons as you sink in bottomless chocolate. When full diff lock is required, actuation is easy. Keep in mind, this 4x4 system requires you to leave diff lock once traction returns, otherwise steering effort and control, despite EPS, becomes annoying. Yamaha packs a ton of product into the 700cc segment with multiple variants, including this SE model. There's also a more trail touring oriented version, the LE, and 2 base models, one with EPS, one without. Knowing Yamaha's competitive posture in the ATV and side-by-side business is only intensifying, we have to believe the company has a bigger twin-cylinder engine in the works for the Grizzly, Viking, and Wolverine. While Polaris, Can-Am, and Arctic Cat continue to grow the big bore ATV segment with 800, 900, and 1000cc twin-cylinder engines, can you imagine a Yamaha twin, say an 800 or 1000, under that impressive Grizzly skin? So here's where we're at with the Yamaha Grizzly 700 SE. This is a high-quality, well-built, solid-performing ATV that comes with class-leading reliability and enduring durability. Greatness is within Yamaha's reach. Its achievement is spelled more power.
Dirt Trax Television has been sponsored by Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. Can-Am, the ride says it all. And by Arctic Cat. Share our passion.
Like the video you just saw? Do you want to see more? Click the subscribe link and add the Dirt Trax channel, and you're going to see a whole lot more great content.